Go Down the Rabbit Hole with Stephanie Hernandez.
Reza Cardenas.
And Julio Coolio.
So this episode is going to be all about government conspiracy theories. So there's a lot to cover for this episode, but we got to start with 9/11. It's the biggest one. So who wants to start? I mean, we all know it's an inside job.
All right, respectfully, jet fuel doesn't burn steel. All right, let's get into it now.
That's what I'm saying. It's so true. So there's a lot to cover with this. I mean, something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is how the Pentagon lost I think it was $2.3 trillion the night before 9/11 happened. Now, there's a lot of theories on where that money could have gone. It could have just gone missing, and then they needed a distraction. I don't know if they could set all that up in one day. More logical explanation, they sent that to somebody to finish a job or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of people don't talk about that. So that was Donald Rumsfeld that said that the money was gone from the Pentagon, and everyone just forgot about it because the next day the biggest tragedy, ever happened. So, and the implications of that event led to a lot of things that are still we're getting the ramifications of it still to this day. Obviously, the war, it was a great justification to be sending people out there where there's a bunch of oil, and we stayed way longer than we were supposed to because, Osama bin Laden has been dead.
Yeah, exactly, too.
So that was a little weird. And then, like you said, the steel beams.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure which order it is, but I know it's we went to one country, but Osama bin Laden was actually associated with another country.
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense. I think the headquarters were in Afghanistan, but I know we went all over. We were in Pakistan, we were in Iraq, we were in everywhere. But I don't know.
What y'all think, off bat? What's y'all first opinion when you first hear about 9/11?
I think it has to be something more happened because I think we needed an excuse to go to the Middle East and take that oil. We were getting a little desperate, so.
And not to mention that George Bush and his father actually had an oil company. And they rebranded right in 2009.
That I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the exact name. I was just looking it up.
Yeah, they had to play the the so-called terrorists on the plane, hijack the plane.
Yeah,
I'm feeling there's that plane
it
that
used to be called
characteristic.
Arbursto Energy, but then in 2000, it merged with the Spectrum 7 Energy Corps in 1984. But I know there was a part where they rebranded.
Yeah, big part of it is probably going to be the president. Everyone says Bush did 9/11. That's the catchy thing to say.
Yeah,
it's what everybody
the Harbinger
says.
Group.
So they did change the name?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I had no idea he owned oil. That just thickens the plot for me. It's already pretty obvious. We went there for oil. Yes, the terrorists came and they did what they did, and we needed to show the world that we were not to be messed with and stuff. I get why they immediately sent troops over there, but it's I'm pretty sure it was an advantage for them because they also wanted to go there for other reasons. They just needed an excuse to be aggressive with it and really take over. Exactly. And something else, I feel after that happened, we got very strict with surveillance, right? Everyone was oh, never again. We won't let this happen again. TSA has gotten way stricter. Surveillance on phones, on everything. They're just yeah, it's for the good of the country. Because, don't you remember what happened? And it's how much can we take, in the name of 9/11? You know what I mean? It's at some point, it's probably not for that. It was just an excuse to do that,
There's a trickle-down effect to these different things. Take oil, then start implementing surveillance everywhere, taking away our rights and, right to privacy and all that stuff like that. So.
Right.
Keep in mind that the Star Wars prequels came out during the 2000s. And one of the major points is how Chancellor Palpatine keeps getting more and more executive power to protect the Republic from the separatists.
Mm-hmm.
You see how
George Lucas himself has even said that Star Wars is basically just trying to call out America.
Yes. Star Wars is so political. If you actually watch it, that whole series is it's a very political series.
Yeah, and
I noticed that.
I find it kind of interesting that at the time the prequels were absolutely hated. It wasn't until the last few years that people have actually accepted the prequels. Every year I was still in high school, and I said, my favorite Jedi is Qui-Gon Jinn, and this one girl's like, okay, what did he do? I'm like, he's Liam Neeson. What more do you need? And she's like, yeah, well, he didn't do anything.
Everyone has their taste. I don't know. I
love
like
Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. I like the one where Anakin. Well, I don't know. I won't say anything just in case.
Back to the 9/11.
Yeah.
So like off bat from the witnesses, like when they were interviewing them outside, like the news crew's like, oh, like what happened? People were saying, oh, their bombs went off.
Yes,
so
I
I'm
was
like,
about to say that. Yes.
Okay.
Bro, Donald Trump said it himself. Did you guys see that video of Donald Trump outside of 9/11? Like outside of the
When it happened or like later on?
I know
they interviewed him, yeah.
I know I saw the one where he was bragging about how he now has like the biggest tower in New York.
I can't say that word. That's messed
crazy.
up. That's messed up. That dude is ruthless. No, but I mean, I wouldn't put it beneath him. Like, he'd definitely say something like that. But I know they asked him like, what is your perspective on this? You know, him being in New York at the time. I don't know how even close he was, but I know the interview was outside, like after the tragedy had happened. And he said, like, I heard some bombs go off in the first floors. And when you think about the way that the building fell,
Collapse on
it had to have been an impact from the bottom to make like that, like Jenga, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's really just collapse.
Exactly. If a plane hits the middle to top part, I feel like it would just
tip
fall over. Exactly. It wouldn't
Exactly.
collapse the way it did. And the fact that people are still saying like, oh, but like the jet fuel would just like decompose like the whole structure of it.
Come on, bro.
It doesn't.
Science, bro. Chemistry, bro. Get your research up.
Exactly. Like, do you think they built that like to be so weak that like it would fall that way? I don't think so. This is one of the most important structures in New York.
Exactly. Twin Towers.
Oh, hey, Rick, can you make sure the graphic doesn't go off?
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty much case closed with 9/11. Like, you got to think further of what they're telling you. Like, there's a lot of reasons why this would be planned, reasons why they'd want more surveillance, reasons why they'd want the oil. It's all there. Like, it was the perfect plan for all of that to happen at the same time, you know? And it was at the cost of lives, which really sucks, but the government is the government.
America.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and here's what really gets me thinking. If we went to war for oil, why are we now getting so involved in this whole Israel-Gaza thing? I know it's because, like, the U.S. and Israel are, like, super close, but it's, like, is there something more to it, apart from, like, humanitarian reasons?
Right. I mean, the craziest
Like, what
thing,
kind of resource do they have?
I don't really know what's on that land. I mean, that is one of the
Oh, like
oldest.
sacred land.
Yeah, it's literally sacred land. Who knows what's there that they're trying so hard to protect. I mean, obviously, religiously, that is culturally significant. Around the world, there's Christians in probably every country. So I get why it's like a universal, like, pact kind of to just stop this war. I mean, it should always be like that for any war, but, like, I don't know. Specifically, what I have noticed about this recent conflict is a lot of people are being brainwashed by, like, these videos. Like, there's a lot of things that have been debunked, and it's crazy to me. Like, I don't know.
Propaganda on both sides.
Yeah, it's bad.
What's
like,
really going on here?
do you guys see, like, the X, like, community notes? It's the promised land. Did you guys see, like, the community notes on a lot of the things that the Israel government has posted?
No, but what I've seen is the tweets from, like, the official Israeli account itself.
That one.
Where, like, there was someone saying, like, they sound like a Final Fantasy villain, like, every time they tweet.
No, they really do. Like, I don't know who's running the Israeli defense, like, Twitter, but it's crazy. Like, it's giving, like, they're trying to appeal to kids to support this. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I think I know where I stand on this, and I stand on another side. Like, I don't know, but it's weird when people use social media to convince people. I think the events should speak for themselves, and the fact that there's a lot of, like, coercion makes it seem like, okay, you're trying too hard, you know, to get people. Like, I think what happened should speak for itself, and I think it does, and that's why I chose what I chose to believe in. But I don't know. That's something else.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole other topic, exactly. Let's go back to the government, and specifically the government elite. So, I mean, we got we got some crazy people in power. I'm just gonna say that, and some sick people in power. And it's been proven many times that there are sick people in the government. I mean, there's a lot of sex trafficking going on, and that's kind of what I wanted to go into. So I don't know if you guys know about Pizzagate. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So do you want to like give a little about what you know so I can know?
So like off bat, like Pizzagate, it's like a little. Well, like what I know when I seen just now, I just know about Hillary Clinton, like her little Pizzagate issues and everything, where like she was like doing some satanic child rituals on like kids, recorded and everything.
Yeah.
And like at least like 3 or 4 police, new NYPD, saw the video type shit. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that, but they saw the video, and like each one of them slowly just heart attack. Next one got a heart attack, and like they said, that was probably one of the most sickest things they ever watched in their life. Like as being a police officer too, seeing
in
a
NYPD,
lot of crime, exactly too. So I'm like, that's like the significant thing I wanted to say about it. So yeah, what y'all got? What y'all got?
Got something?
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually at a workshop yesterday where they were talking about like, oh, what are some solutions for like the economy and stuff. Like they were talking about like current events. I'm just like, the thing is we have like so many old people in power. Like 70% of our Congress people are over the age of 70. And if there was a limit, then that 70% would have to like retire.
And they should.
Yeah. And then the thing is like, they hold all their power like so concentrated where they're like, oh, it's up to the younger generation to fix it. But it's like every time they try to like budge in, like
they're
honestly,
treated like children.
Yeah, like a lot of issues like Cuba, the whole thing with March for Our Lives, like it seems like what happens is that they let like a little spirit week happen and then they just sort of like try to like put them to the side.
Mm-hmm.
True.
That happens with so many movements, like literally. And I feel like the American like society is just like starting to pick up on things and drop them as fast as they get picked up. Like there's no like sympathy, like it's just like a trend kind of thing, and then they drop it and it's like, dude, like
throw it under the rug, you know.
Yeah, if you want change, you gotta annoy these people. Like I don't know, they're old, but like I was saying, like there's some more sinister things going on there. Apart from them just being unfit for the job, like there's some people in there that should definitely be investigated. Like I have actual names of people that have been arrested. This is like as recent as 2019, 2018. So Matt Guyetz, Ralph Shorty, Anton Lazaro, these are actual people that have been charged with like sex trafficking, and they were senators and they were like actual people in the government. I think one of them was a Florida politician even, and that's like right here. Exactly. I don't know. It's just weird, but like Pizzagate specifically, like I don't know. There's a lot of weird things. I know the video you're talking about with Hillary Clinton, and I saw like a 12-page report that showed specifically what these people want with children so badly is like in their blood. There's something called adrenochrome, and that is like kind of like what gives them their life form, like their youthfulness, right? So that's what they want. So if you unalive somebody and you get them in a place where there is a lot of adrenaline going through their body, that's how you get that. And then you pretty much inject it into yourself, or you drink it. I don't know. It just goes into your body, and then you'll be more youthful. Exactly. So
it's interesting because Dracula was based on Vlad the Impaler, who was the leader of, I forgot if it was Romania or Slovenia. I know it was like one of those European countries. And Vlad the Impaler was known not just for like impaling people to kill them, but also for drinking blood. Apparently, he actually really liked drinking blood.
It's so creepy.
On a side note for Vlad,
and it probably was for that because of like those chemicals of youthfulness.
Who knows?
For Vlad, what he did to like for his victims, he'd get a wooden stake at least like 10 feet tall, sharpened in this through your butt, out through your mouth. You just on the stake like a little kebab.
Yeah, that's why they call him Vlad the Impaler.
That's so gross.
That boy is a vamp for real. It's crazy.
Oh, that's so gross.
Back on the elites with the Pizzagate and everything.
Like, even if you look at the portrait of him, like, dude just looks like off his rocker.
I mean, there's actual cannibals in the world. Like, let's not forget.
Armie Hammer.
Yeah, that's a theory. That's a theory for our celebrity episode. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, That's a little. I don't know.
Talking about
To
the
me,
baking soda?
no, not Arm & Hammer. Army Hammer.
I'm dead.
Yeah, he's a like famous person. There's like some allegations and like there's like some screenshots of him talking to girls and being like, I want to eat you. I'm 100% a cannibal. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's a joke. Like, honestly, I think that's a joke. I think like that's just like something taken out of context. Yeah, no, but there's actual cannibals. Like, bro, if someone's a cannibal, it's Hillary Clinton though. I'm telling you. Like, there's proof.
Did you hear about her recent statement that Trump supported it to be formally deprogrammed?
Nah.
Like, I don't think what happened in the Capitol was right, but I feel like if you're calling for people to be formally deprogrammed, like, that's a bit sus.
Okay, what do you think that means? I think that means they're brainwashed, which they are.
Oh, they about to start by the LSD testing on them.
On the MK Ultra.
Brainwashed, real talk.
No, that is so crazy. That's actually something we should have written in here. The MK Ultra like experiments were 100% real, and there's actual evidence for that. I guess it's not even a theory. That's why we shouldn't even talk about it.
Yeah,
just the fact that people were being used as guinea pigs. I mean, thank God for them. But nah, but thank you for your service.
And the thing is, those rituals that Hillary Clinton has been in, it's not just Hillary Clinton, it's also people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk.
Everyone in Jeffrey Epstein's logs.
Yeah, the whole list.
I believe that's what that was for.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
maybe
apart
some
from
people are
that-
just weird, but some people could be cannibals too. Like, who knows? I think they just give you the child and you do what you want with that child. And
Yeah,
sick.
apart from that, they also, apparently in those rituals, and this is coming from somebody who's, like, gone into those rituals, like, I think they even recorded some footage or something. I have to look it up. But basically what they say is that they would also worship an owl god, and in Babylon, their god was an owl as well.
Oh. That's a good fact, too.
Yeah. I've seen some videos of, like, caves in the middle of nowhere, and people would go into them, and they literally look like an Olympic arena with a stage right in the middle. There's little bleachers in there, and it looks like a medieval cave, like, untouched. You go in, and you see actual structures in there, and there's people going in there being like, what is this for? Like, this looks like it's for a ritual, and it's not just, like, some kids just trying to, like, play a prank or do some funny stuff. Like, this looks like people... A lot of work went into it, and like people with money, built this thing, and they did it to be hidden. And going off of that, I think the Denver airport. Do you guys know about that? Yeah. No. There's a conspiracy theory saying that under the Denver airport, there's a bunker for rich people to go into if there's ever an apocalypse. You pay, and that'll keep your spot in there. And when when whatever happens, you get a secured spot in there.
And the whole airport is just like demonic symbolization everywhere. If you peep the logo, we got the little dark horse top right, you feel me? And,
super weird.
All like the posters and all like the little subliminal quotes they have in the statues and all that. Like, proves the point. Like
the person that made the horse statue died making it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know this is a bit out of reach, but we know that the White House also has a bunker.
Oh, yeah,
and if rich people have a bunker as well, wouldn't they somehow be connected? Like, I feel like it's a bit of a reach because of the fact that you would have to go to, like, so much terrain between Washington, D.C. and Denver.
That's true.
I think, who knows where our tax dollars are going? That's all I'm going to say. I think it could definitely be possible. There could be a whole subterranean, like, system under us that we don't know about. I don't know. The government has money for I want everyone to know, like, there's never enough money for them. Like, whatever you think that they don't have money for, they have money for.
Yeah, and one of the biggest complaints about this current war is, like, so we don't have money to reform education and to be able to, like, alleviate the national debt, but suddenly we could just pull out a lot more money just to go to war.
Yeah, it's true. I think they definitely pick and choose what their money goes for. If they ever say there's not enough money for it, it's going somewhere else. And we put a lot of money into defense, and we put a lot of money into helping other countries. We don't want to get into, like, crazy conflicts with them. I get that. You want to, like, help so that we don't become the target,
True.
But there is a lot of crazy things going on here that we need to fix, and we just don't.
Yeah, and what does defense also encompass? Protection.
Yeah. And it's always like, it's for the possibility if something happens. And it's like, okay, well, are we just going to spend so much money year after year after year on the possibility? You know, it's a lot of money. And like the last time that we have been attacked was 9/11, and that wasn't another government. That was like a isolated terrorist attack. You know, it wasn't like a war between us and like whatever country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, back to specifically the government theories. I mean, I think we've been waiting for this since we talked about making this podcast, the COVID theories. I don't know if you guys have been cooking those up in your head, but
Yes.
go ahead. I want to hear them all.
Okay, so we obviously have the fact that, like, some people recommend using fluoride, and apparently fluoride only helps children. And from what they said, the U.S. is one of the only countries where fluoride has been added to stripping materials to keep humans weak.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like, I'm not going to say I'm anti-vax because I've been vaxxed, like, twice. But my mom, my sister, like, everyone in my family, we've all been vaxxed, and we've all noticed, like, things have been different since we've been vaxxed.
Absolutely.
Like, I specifically have gotten, like, more, like, how do I say, like, feeling drained after the vaccination. That could be something else, but I just find it weird that it happened, like, right there.
Yeah. I think it's weird that I have never gotten COVID before getting vaccinated, despite like most people in my family getting it. I made sure to isolate myself, all this, all that. I got vaccinated twice, and after my second round, to make sure that I'm extra good, I got COVID after being vaccinated, when before it was higher percentage, a risk of me getting it. And that's when they prematurely opened everything, because we live in Florida, and I went back to work, and I worked at a gym, like, and I had to clean the machines. Like, I don't know how I didn't get it. Yeah. And then I get vaccinated and I get COVID. And I'm like, how did this happen? I don't get it. It's supposed to, increase your chances of not getting it. Yet everyone I know has gotten it after they've gotten vaccinated. That's a little weird. I don't know how effective it is. Maybe they just try to get it out. I'm not saying they don't work. But for me, personally, they didn't work. They didn't do what they said they were supposed to do, because I did end up getting it anyways, and it's just weird to me. And there are people in my family that have had symptoms after getting the vaccine. I have my stepmom and my aunt. Both of them got vaccinated. Literally the next day, they started experiencing panic attacks that they've never had ever in their entire life.
One of my mom's clients actually lost vision in one of her eyes. Actually, no, it wasn't that. It was that she had, like, a problem in the ear before getting vaccinated, and then after she got vaccinated, one of her ears went deaf, like, completely deaf.
I don't know. There's, like, there's a whole range of things. I've seen those TikToks of people, like, with the shakes. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. But, like, can there be side effects? For sure. I mean, yeah. But the thing is, like, other vaccines that we have received, I never hear anything crazy like this happening. I got the flu vaccine and I've had panic attacks like that. I never hear that.
Aspect of it.
But it's specifically COVID. Why do you think so many people, like, why would this vaccine cause so many problems and other ones?
Bats, no, I'm joking.
It's the microchip.
It's the bats, bro. The bat wing, bro. When it first started, but nah, that shit's my fault. It's man-made.
It is man-made. That is confirmed for sure.
Yeah, because, like, the lab leak theory is true. It's just a fact at this point. And plus, it's like, how does it affect humans but not animals?
Right. I've heard a few cases of some pets having COVID, but
some story or something.
Yeah, how do you know? I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to verify that, but it is kind of weird. And I remember when this COVID was created in a lab, was a theory, and it wasn't confirmed yet. This was like when it first started, like early 2020. And I remember, like, one of my friends, like, posting this all the time, being like, you guys, this was not a bat. Because everyone was like, oh, a bat. It's like, no. This was made in a lab. And, like, everyone was like, bro, you're crazy. What are you talking about? And, like, now we found out it was made in a lab. And there's a lot of things that went wrong with the handling of it. Like, Dr. Fauci is, like, pretty much disgraced at this point with everything that he has tried to do. I think he had good intentions. It just wasn't the right execution, and, like, a lot of things were said and taken back and things like that.
Yeah, and plus the fact that it was made in a Chinese lab where people are like, oh, the Chinese are planning to take over the world and stuff. But one thing that my mom thinks is, like, I think Trump was working with the Chinese to try to do something, and then it just sort of, like, backfired on him. Or maybe it was to sort of, like, keep people sort of like occupied during the election season.
Yeah.
Because next thing you know, like he tries to overthrow the government.
Yeah.
That's true too.
I mean, he probably wanted something to happen where he could rise to the occasion, you know, and like prove to everyone that he could do it. And it did kind of backfire. I mean, he ended up getting COVID, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever because he would always be the one saying, like, oh, no, I won't get that. Oh, no, it's not that big of a deal. Like, don't worry about it. COVID's not that bad. And then he ends up getting it.
I mean,
COVID
I don't
scared of me. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand how he's not dead considering all the Big Macs he eats.
The what he eats? The Big Macs? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Big Macs, the Diet Cokes, like he eats like absolute trash. Like honestly, he kind of reminds me of Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Solo.
I don't know, man. Speaking of junk food, because that's another thing. That's not really the government, but it's just America, you know, in a sense. I
have a really good story about that. Sorry to interrupt, but recently Japan decided to ban a couple products like Rice Krispies and stuff, a couple of sugar products, because they said that there was an ingredient that caused cancer.
I believe it. I believe it. I think people are like misinformed on what will make you unhealthy and what will make you healthy. Sugar is the main thing. Like, don't let that, like, you know, you don't forget that. But when it comes to junk food, like salty junk food, like burgers and fries and McDonald's and stuff, like that is not what you think it is. Like, do you really, like, I don't know if people even think about, like, how many chickens and how many cows do you think go into making this meal for you? Like, do you know how many people McDonald's serves a day? It's like a good portion of the world eats McDonald's almost every day.
Around the world too, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Do you know how many animals that takes? Like, I don't know. And, like, I can't wait to get into these cartoon theories because I watched this theory about Wall-E. Like, how do they make food on the ship at Wall-E? Yeah. Like, in the movie Wall-E, because, like, they were only supposed to be there for 5 years. They ended up being on the ship for, like, 800 years. So it's like, where do you get your food from? And it's like, what is something that keeps recycling itself? And it's, like, human life. Like, babies are born all the time. People die all the time, right? It's a constant cycle. And it's like, well, that's the only resource that you could really use at one point. And they were, like, fat.
Yeah, they're on, like, the little, like, kind of like little carts.
And the little carts, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, you're huge, which makes you a better, like, option. You know, you can probably get a good 5 meals out of you or something. Like, I don't know, I'm making it up. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not so far off. Like, people, like, I mean, the rates are going up. People are eating McDonald's more often. It's like, what do you think happens? I don't know.
You got to think, like, all those fast foods are targeted to, like, towards low-income, like, areas.
Yes, that's another thing. It's, like, so hard to eat healthy.
It's
and
expensive,
I feel like,
too. You feel me?
And that's something the government is like.
I found the ingredient specifically that Japan cited. It was BHT.
BHT.
Yeah, butylated hydroxytoluene. If it sounds scientific, if it sounds like it was made in a lab, it's
made in a lab, yeah, for sure. And, like, this goes hand in hand with, like, fluoride and stuff. It's, like, government mandated things, you know? It's, like, what really is it, you know? And, like, of course, it's good for your teeth, and it is very helpful for children to prevent tooth decay. There's not a lot of studies about what it does to adults, though. And it's like, okay, if you think about that, why is it so universally in everybody's water supply if it just helps children? If anything, I feel like the government would use that to their advantage and make, like, fluoride water for kids, $50. You know, like, they'd market it. They would sell it. Like, putting it in the tap water, I think that just means you're trying to give it out to as many people as possible, regardless of the benefits. It has to be something more. Like, if it's specifically helpful for kids, they would just bottle that up and sell it apart, not put it in the water. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense.
Everyone to consume.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. So what's the benefit? Yes, it could prevent your
And when you think about the difference in quality of water, because apparently, like, Miami has, like, the best water.
Yeah.
But you go to some places. I remember going to New York once. It was freezing cold outside. We stopped by in a little, like, grocery mart before heading back to our hotel. Mm-hmm. And then we were trying to wash our hands, but we turned on the sink, and that water was just brown.
That's the Hudson River water. That's disgusting.
Take a shot at that or just go to jail for 3 years?
And actually, I don't even know. I know this isn't written, but speaking of sort of modified chemicals and stuff, did you hear about recently that Florida actually has modified mosquitoes that they released?
No way. I knew it. Has to.
Yeah, it has
It
to.
has to.
Yeah. It's another level. Everything is planned. Like, everything. Bro, don't trust nobody. That's a great way to end this is literally do not trust anything. Like, at this point, even the bugs are, like, government mandated. It's crazy.
Hybrid. Like, them, bro, I'm telling you. Remember that cold front, like, 2 weeks ago or something like
Yeah.
that? Bro, that's when at least, like, 40 million just spawned. Like, I'm in my garage just, chilling out, you feel me? Bro, I'm getting wet. Like, you feeling that, like, little pricks. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. You seeing big-ass welts after. I'm like, what kind of mosquito? What? I get malaria? God damn. Like, what the hell? You feel me? But,
Yeah, we covered a lot. There's probably enough for another episode of just the
Part
government.
2's
Yeah,
type
we
shit.
definitely just reached the surface.
Yeah, when you were talking about the weather, I know we should save this for like TV and cartoons and stuff, but I don't know if you've seen Power Rangers RPM. Like, if you haven't seen it, it's the one Power Ranger season you need to watch because basically, like, the entire world is completely ravaged by a computer virus and its robot army, and there's only one civilization left inside of a dome. And they actually show you explicitly in some episodes that they actually change the weather of the dome depending on certain days.
This sounds like the Simpsons movie.
It's just how, like,
The
bro,
dome.
they take media, the media aspect, and just kind of, like, downplay, like, oh, it's like a little cartoon, we're under a dome. But, like, in reality, like, bro, if you dumbing it down for the kids that think it's all make-believe, like, in reality, it might be real. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that more in the next episode. So thanks for going down the rabbit hole with Stephanie Hernandez.
Reza Cardenas.
And Julio Coolio.
Yes, sir.